we palmed off a good business to you guys. And that one good business was Morata. I'm telling you, seriously. I'm not saying that he should be in the starting 11. You should have him in the squad.
Brahim Diaz for Milan is one of the main creators and he's really improved as a player. I'm really surprised.
Do you know where he came from?
Carlos Soler ko aap hata sakte the. That is maybe one thing you can talk about.
That's a no-brainer for me, but I don't, like I said, I'm not Luis Enrique, so I want him to win, but let's see.
Want to theek hai. That is before he started, we knew that. Lekin we, in association with Sporticos, are bringing you something very exciting this World Cup season. First of all, Sporticos.com, that is a great website. Do check it out. आप लोग को अभी मिल रहा है एक मौका to win an absolutely free jersey आपके टीम का or any other team that you would want. It can be football or cricket. Along with that, you would get something extra as well, bonus, as well as a potential to win a second jersey or आपके टीम का training jacket. जो procedure है for you to subscribe, that has to be done with the link in the description below. पहला ही line in the description contains that link. Do click on that. Do check out the procedure. Pretty sure that is a great deal. So thanks for watching. Do watch till the end. Hello. Welcome back to Almighty Blues FC, a fan channel for all to see. Or for all of you who are waiting for the Spanish preview for that big World Cup, here we are finally. And yes, on popular demand, again, Dhenuka is here. Dhenuka, welcome back. Almighty Blues FC पर क्या हाल है? और of course, looking forward to the World Cup. क्या confidence level क्या है अभी?
The heart says something, the mind says something else. वाला situation है. But yeah, always La Furia Roja. I've always been a Spain supporter, and so मैं वही बोलती हूँ ना, I don't know any other way. अभी और suddenly क्या करें, right? एक हाथ दो season से you can't, like, people always ask me, are you still a Spain supporter after the squad reveal and whatever? But yeah, Spain is still my team. I'm still supporting Spain. I still hope they pull something out of the hat and win.
Right. Yeah, so again, obviously there have been a lot of reactions already. I thought to wait a little while and then react, just think about it and then react. That's why we are here. First and foremost, I have to ask you, like, एक होता है यार, हम हंसी मजाक पे ले रहे हैं, but realistically speaking, if you actually think about it, Luis Enrique he's been doing the job. Like, for the limited amount of resources, you can argue that, he's been getting you in the semifinals of major tournaments for fun. Abhi Nations League, maybe I think you guys are qualified. Euros, maybe you were there, right? So where are you saying, like, Luis Enrique's style of management has, in a strange way, but it's worked, right?
Yeah, so the thing is that he picks players, and this is, I think, has been a tradition with Spanish managers. Even Aragonés before that, he didn't think about benching veteran players, seasoned players, and always pick players based on his sort of vision or whatever. And he didn't care. And there was a fallout. There was a huge furore even at that time when he dropped players like Raúl. But and so this is something that I think the Spanish managers tend to do. So I'm not surprised. And again, it's the same thing. When Luis Enrique picked the squad even for the Euros earlier, there was a huge uproar, and nobody expected Spain to get to where they were at the time, and Spain still made it through. Now, personally, I don't like or agree with a lot of his selections, even not just the squad selection, but also the team selection, like on the day when he picks, say, Morata over like a Moreno, when Morata has been missing consistently. There's no logic or reasoning to it, and that is that. So there is always that angle, but like you said, it got the job done. It's it's gotten him to it's not like they've been crashing out in the early stages. And the World Cup traditionally has always been this thing, right? Like, you hype up a team and you think it's like a very strong team on paper, and that's not necessarily the team that goes on.
It's very rare that they do well. Exactly.
It's very rare, and
exactly.
There are so many cases where the champions from the previous years have like crashed out in the group stages. They've gone out pretty early in the tournament. So I think the World Cup, you can't predict anything based on what the lineup looks like on paper. And also because these people, nowadays it's a little different, because nowadays you have a lot of, I think, tournaments where the national team also sort of plays a little more frequently than they used to, where club football used to always take precedence. Now I think you have these, like a lot of these Nations League kind of tournaments where they also get to participate as a team. So I think there they kind of develop that chemistry, and they get a chance to play as a team. So that is one advantage, I would say. In this World Cup, it'll be interesting to see, because if you look at Portugal, or if you look at Argentina, Germany, they've all recently played a lot of matches together, as opposed to what used to happen earlier, I think.
Yeah.
And that's
so the
also
tactics are
partly
no longer like a big secret, right? By the way, everyone watching, do hit that like button, and of course do watch the end, because हम discuss करने वाले squad detail analysis हम करने वाले absolutely. लेकिन apart from that, एक चीज मैं बोलना चाहूँगा Dhenuka, I don't know what it is, and I know me as a Chelsea fan, at times I say that, or rather we say about Klopp having the 7-year cycle. Spain has had an 8-year cycle. Let me explain to you all. तो भाई 1994 में Spain reached the quarterfinals, ठीक है? 1998 में हक दिया. फिर 2002 में वापस से reached the quarterfinals. 2006 में you can argue a little bit unlucky, but they didn't do well again, I would say overall. 2010, obviously we know that you guys won the World Cup, तो उसको ज्यादा ही कर दिया इस बार 8 साल के बाद में. और फिर क्या हुआ 8 साल बाद में 2018 में वापस से they went out crashing at the round of 16. So is this saying that the fact is now you have not done it in the 8 years, it is kind of for compensating that you have that pending, and maybe this is the year, as in if you really count, or if you're superstitious, it might actually count for something and say that they might actually do very well this time, going by that series that I just explained you about. But let's move on. I know काफी memories की बात हो गई, and अभी थोड़ा सा present में आ जाते. I don't know what the controversy is about. You have to tell me as a Spanish fan. Me, so for someone who's covering content and who's been following football generally and international football, including Spain, for a very long time, मेरे ख्याल से there were very few surprises यहाँ पर. मतलब I know Thiago and Ramos kind of stand out. Two players, आप बोलोगे great quality, world class players on that day. But what were your chances कि भाई उन्होंने गलत किया है एनरिके ने to not pick them?
See, it's गलत से ज्यादा ना अब मुझे पता चल गया है, like his thought process, I think, or whatever, or not thought process, the way he picks players. Okay, so I can say that even before this squad was announced, for me it is not surprising that he has picked the people he has picked. I would not say that that is correct, but I was not surprised. I would not agree with this, but I would not agree with this squad selection, and not for Ramos and Thiago, of course, but and not for the usual reasons, because Ramos is such a huge sort of figure that he gets that kind of attention when he's not picked. Especially because I think there was some, when the preliminary list came out, there was some confusion whether he was included in the 55 list or not. And iske pehle in the Euros he was not picked, but then there was this whole, they tried to do this whole thing where he was like, no, I called him up, and Luis Enrique said that he called him up and they spoke, and they said he was not 100% fit, or they were not sure of his fitness levels, and so that's why he didn't pick him. Carvajal, of course, at the time was injured. So all this drama, ये जो होना था ना, ये तभी हो गया. That was because that was the first big sort of tournament. Coming back to now, why I feel for the players, because this is, everyone wants to play for their national team, and it's just unfair that if you pick people because of not because you have like a very certain style of play, and you have to stick to that or something like that, if there is some kind of a pattern, because it's not, you can't see a pattern here. Okay, you can't say that he's gone for like a completely young sort of squad with no old people in it. You do have your Busquets there, you do have your, so it's not like you can't say that you have gone completely for a young team.
इसलिए बोलो ना preference or bias. That is where the preference or bias thing comes into picture about
there
Barca.
Is, and I'm not saying that this is not done by other managers. This has, Spain ka hi le lo, this has happened with Spain earlier, with Aragon is also showing that kind of bias. So I'm not saying that, which is why I'm saying I'm not surprised at all. But I feel, and I'll tell you what the players I feel more for. Not okay, Ramos, fine, whatever. He didn't pick him up because he has been playing for PSG regularly now. But you go ahead and pick Sarabia, who doesn't start for PSG. He comes on when, say, Messi is injured. And you ignore people like Sergio Canales, who has been performing really well. in Real Betis.
Real Betis in the last say 18 months have actually impressed as a team. They have impressed.
They have been playing. Last season they were fantastic, especially like they were really good. And this season also they started off with a bang and they've been playing really well. So I feel for players like Borja Iglesias, who is the second highest goal scorer aside from Lewandowski. So the Spanish wise he's leading the goal scoring in La Liga. And you can't say that like he's a striker, right? So it's not like link up and style of play and whatever. It's you have a Morata there and you have an Iglesias there. I don't know. That has to be biased. That can't be.
Yeah, Morata तो मैं तो बोल ही सकता हूँ यार यहाँ पर Morata, trust me, like, you know, मैं as a Chelsea fan, I'm telling you that we still mock at Morata ourselves. I'm not lying even. I know that he scored that winner.
We palmed off a good business to you guys, and that one good business was Morata. I'm telling you seriously. That guy just has like anyway. So Morata is a different
enigma का definition है. He's the enigma that you can think about in world football. One of them for sure. Lekin honestly, I think the difference was, I'll tell you what, there were two moments. One was Morata getting that winner. I think Nico Williams had an impact in the Nations League match, and him kind of proving that okay, come on, he still got it in him. Of course, Euros, maybe if you remember, there was a lot of criticism for Morata, and actually he came up trumps in one of the games. I remember, was it against Croatia? He was really good. I remember that. Okay, so I think somewhere down the line, I think as a coach, thinking from his perspective, he's taken those performances into picture and saying that okay, I can make this work. Or Asensio. I know that you disagree. My example there Asensio के बारे में. Asensio we have spoken earlier as well, right? लेकिन I think Enrique used Asensio as a false nine in one of the matches, and उसमें he got an assist.
I'm not so like I'm saying, I'm not talking about Asensio, or I'm not talking about Morata. The game that you were talking about, Croatia wala game. If you look at the tournament in the entirety, Morata had a string of bad performances, and
I agree.
You are a striker. You are the lone striker, and you are being prioritized over a guy who is included in the squad, who has had the best run at the time, and you have been prioritized over him, and you are missing chances left, right, and center. Let me tell you, if it was club football or anywhere else, he would not have started. If it was not biased, he would not have started against Croatia. Anyway, I digress. So the Croatia game was, I did a live reaction for that on another channel. So I can never forget that game, because I was very happy that that was by far the most difficult match I had to sort of take sides in, because there was Luka Modric and here I had like Spain. And I was supporting Spain. And
I remember Orsic came on and created havoc with the Spanish defense.
It was crazy. The first goal and then the blunder that Unai Simon did. It was a crazy game, but an amazing. I think that it was the best match of the Euros up until that point, and it was a crazy one that went all the way into extra time. And anyway, so I digress. So my thing is, and if you see that the recent goal that you were talking about, it was a spectacular cross from Carvajal, which doesn't get spoken about at all, and that it was very similar to the cross that he made against Man City, which to Rodrigo, which won us the semis in the Champions League. So Carvajal to Nico Williams makes a brilliant thing to, and Morata had to finish, right?
Yeah.
As a striker, you have to finish. That does not make you the
that's the base of what you expect, basically.
Right, that is the basic thing that you expect. So yes, you can justify why he took Morata here, but if you keep all biases
I didn't mean that. What I meant is why he didn't drop. Put it that way. Like usko drop करने के लिए.
Drop, right? So no. So that's the thing. See, and that's why I started by saying every manager has his biases. In his case, you can clearly see the bias. That's all I'm saying.
वो पहले से आ रहा है, मतलब अभी से नहीं है. Even from the time he's taken over, almost you can say that.
वो उसके पहले के managers सबके हैं, and I'm sure बाकी teams के analyze करो तो उनके managers के भी होंगे. तो वो तो नहीं बोल रही हूँ मैं. Like everybody had their own biases. So there's no saying that.
Even in defense ना देखो Dhenuka, यहाँ पर defense में देखो, मतलब you said it right. मतलब I know Sergio Ramos has been playing only from 3 months. Stuff like that, I understand that. लेकिन इस season में again, I am agreeing with basically just continuing with what you have, because you've not done badly as a team. But there can be an argument, why has Eric Garcia been picked over say Sergio Ramos for this season, based on the minutes, based on the performances, based on the quality as well. So or experience, of course. So you are Right. As in somewhere down the line, there is a bias.
And one other thing I would say, only forget Nacho, I'm not going to get there because people will start jumping on the Real Madrid thing. But with Ramos, right, this current Spanish team does not have a leader. It does not have a forceful sort of, that kind of the guy who will motivate the team and sort of, be like that voice and be that, I don't want to say aggressive, but that kind of the guy
for
who
example,
puts in the pumps in
what
the power.
Puyol was, that is what Ramos kind of has learned. As in, he's there.
What Ramos, I mean, he's done it for years now. So he's a dominating figure and he has that dominating presence. He's a big games player and you would take him for that alone. And I'm not saying that he should be in the starting 11. You should have him in the squad. That's my thing. This is a squad. This is not your starting 11. You have, and I can see that in many things. So why I didn't go for the usual like Ramos and the Nacho and the Real Madrid background wala players was because then that whole element of you're also biased will come in, which is why I didn't want to touch that. But I think, for one, that it is unfair to an Aspas or a Borja Iglesias or a Canales, or there are so many cases like this.
I have more examples actually. Again, मैं तो सब leagues में बोलूँगा, generally speaking, मैं तो बोलूँगा there's a bias for, I'm not sure about Barca, but definitely La Liga. I'll tell you why. The reason is, I thought, as much as I love Azpilicueta to bits, I think Pedro Porro right now deserved to get a call up or in the squad few months ago, not only now, right?
Sure.
Then you have a Brahim Diaz. Brahim Diaz for Milan is one of the main creators and he's really improved as a player. I'm really surprised.
Do you know where he came from?
Oh, of course, I know. But see, that's the thing, right? Somewhere down the line, I think these are examples of, just say, for example, a Southgate not picking a Tomori. To some extent, I see that in Luis Enrique as well. क्योंकि उसको पता है भाई, एक तो बारसा बोलो या ला लीगा बोलो, उसको पता है कि ये लोग कैसे खेलते हैं. Maybe he's having more of eye test with them compared to others.
Why I started by saying I feel bad for the players is like, what more can they do to get a chance to be called up to the national team? They can't do anything, and that's heart-wrenching. So, because I think kitna bhi club football khelo, when you play in a World Cup, it's a different feeling. You're playing for your nation. And I can go on and on. I just hope, and because I'm supporting Spain, I just hope nothing happens to Simon, because if you look at our keepers, like, you have not included a De Gea or a Kepa in your squad. Okay,
I have a point to add definitely there, Dhenuka. मुझे लगता है ना, देखो,
Kepa, I don't know,
that in terms of keepers, he's taken too much look at what the recent stats are in terms of their distribution, in terms of basically how they were in terms of shot stopping or balance. उसको चाहिए ज़्यादा distribution versus a shot stopping. David De Gea अभी भी आज के दिन maybe he is winning points for Manchester United left, right, center. Or talk about leaders, for me he's one of them. Kepa,
that's what
he's just got the goalkeeper of the month, and that shows. I know he's injured. Come on, he'll be fine in a couple of weeks. He'll be
fine in a couple of weeks. And exactly, you have two choices after Unai Simon whom you prefer. God forbid something happens, and I'm really like knocking on everything here. I don't want anything to happen, but what are we banking on, right? You have players whom you could have chosen, one out of the two, even if you didn't pick both of them. You've not even included them in the squad. I don't know the thinking here. I just don't know what the thinking is here. And for every position, I can say that. And I don't look at Eric Garcia, right? What happened in the Euros? Was it in the Euros or was it in the Nations Cup? It was in the Nations Cup, where he made that little blunder and then Mbappe just like ran with the ball.
Even recently, for that matter, like even Bayern ke game or Inter game. Bayern ke game I don't remember. Inter ke game, for example, there was even with Barcelona.
Yeah, he's a young guy. You can't blame that guy also. It's a big stage performance. It's a big game, and he's never played in such a setting before. And it's a team that he's obviously nobody's used to as much. So in that squad, you should have some people who are big moments players for that, because then what will happen is this entire blame thing will happen. And imagine the pressure on this guy, and now the other people who are with him also. Busquets, who has a lot of experience but has not been in form. There is a lot of pressure over there in that midfield. That this team is under a lot of
Rodri not starting is a robbery, to be very honest. As much as Busquets is a legend.
And so these things worry me. Like because it's one thing to play in the Euros and the Nations League and whatnot. Here you have other teams look really strong. Why would you not sort of pad for that?
लेकिन मतलब just मतलब I'm not a Spanish fan, इसलिए I'm trying to say here, यहाँ पर देखो, I feel that there is some X factor there. I know what you mean in terms of padding with that quality, that kind of big game players. I understand totally with David De Gea, with the Ramos, with even Kepa to some extent. Yet for people wondering Kepa क्यों बोल रहा हूँ भाई, Kepa का आप देखिए, he is assistant coach at Chelsea. A lot of time people don't realize the way he directs people. He is actually a character for sure. But I think one guy जो X factor में मुझे दिख रहा है, again हमने देखा था briefly Nico Williams. I actually would commend Luis Enrique to actually give him that opportunity in even the Nations League. Then you have an Ansu Fati who he's been waiting. Again, I know that he's not been starting for Barca. I am of the view that in the forward positions things are look differently, right? And we have seen a lot of World Cups. Dhenuka, like मुझे लगता है that Ansu Fati वो X factor ला सकता है compared to maybe say अगर वो जाता even the names मैंने जो बोला Brahim Diaz etc. not those players where like suddenly से कुछ कर दिया भाई goal, that kind of thing. So that is something that Ansu Fati can bring from the bench. So there are some positives as well, but overall I get your point. Like there are a lot of say ego clashes that he's had, probably is what my guess is. To me it looks like from the outside
ego nahi hai, it's just his preference. Like it's he has a set thing saying that this is how I'm going to
and he's
this
not
is how I'm going to play the game and I'm not going to change it irrespective of what you've been doing in your league and how you've been performing. I'm going to stick to this. This is what he's done. So he has picked his Carvajal from Real Madrid. He has picked his Asensio from Real Madrid. And it's not like, so he'd always made it clear that if Carvajal was fit during the Euros, I would have picked him because he's a good player and whatnot.
Right.
So uska wohi hai, it is a very, very set notion. So that's why I'm saying, I just feel bad for the players because वो करते भी तो और क्या करेंगे to deserve at least to be in the squad, not the starting 11. So and some of those like I mentioned are a little unfair to me for
but anyway, it is what it is. If you can pick your 11 from this, what's your starting 11 from this squad?
Okay, let's see. So Simon will start obviously on the goal. I will start with Carvajal. I know you have Azpilicueta, but
no, 100%. Azpilicueta, मैं तो बोल रहा हूँ, Azpilicueta, I don't think deserves to be in the squad even. It's just that his experience. हाँ, Euros may deserved it. Right now, no, to be very honest. But anyway.
Okay, and then see that's the thing. Again, I know whom he's going to pick. Okay, so I'm going to go with that only. And within what we have
so
here,
what is the likely 11? Is what you're talking.
Carvajal, it'll be Eric Garcia. I think.
You think so? I think Pau Torres and Laporte they haven't played recently together. That might be a slight issue.
No, they haven't played recently together, and I don't know. He seems to favor Eric Garcia a lot. So I don't know. Maybe
possible.
Okay, maybe it's a toss up between. I think I would say Laporte and Eric Garcia, because even in the Euros and everything, Pau Torres only came on. He didn't start every game, if I'm not wrong.
But no, eventually they did settle for Pau Torres and Laporte in the big game. But I hear you what you're saying. And left back again, he's picked Jordi Alba again. The likes of a lot of left back could have been spoken about.
Yeah, but he will pick Alba, so there is no two ways about it.
I think again Grimaldo has missed out. Just to let you all know, Grimaldo has missed out. Not just now, before भी उसको chance मिलना चाहिए था, in my opinion. Of course, Alonso, he's not even been played as a left back, so it's not even a choice right now. With no disrespect to anyone. Same time, I think Balde has done really well. So I'm actually surprised.
Yeah, I was surprised Balde was not picked of the entire team.
वो ये पहले chance नहीं दिया ना, बहुत late हो गया, मतलब और simple as that.
And वही मैं बोल रही हूँ ना, एक पैटर्न नहीं है, वो recency bias हो या कुछ भी बोल लो, there is no anyway. So अभी है जो है, so Alba, and then midfielders you have he will start Busquets.
Busquets
because he's the captain.
I think Pedri definitely.
Pedri will definitely start, and then I think Llorente. He seems to like Llorente. So I mean, what is Soler? क्या है मतलब
नहीं मतलब सोलर मतलब करता है PSG के लिए, लेकिन वो he comes on as a substitute. He's not like a starter.
That's what I'm saying, right? How do you even?
I think probably Gavi Pedri is probably the safest option.
Yeah, Gavi Pedri is going to. He will definitely start Gavi Pedri because
the three
also they've been playing. Yeah, and they've been playing together. So Busquets, Gavi, Pedri.
You probably have Morata start because आपके Gerard
Nico Williams
injured थे.
Yeah. Moreno was injured. I think he's okay now. But Moreno is not there only in the squad.
No, he's not there because of his injuries. What I read, or
I
rather,
thought you were
it's
asking
more
me
like a
this.
Thiago. Just say Thiago's reliability is an issue, na, with injury record. I think that is the
Yeah,
problem
but
with the.
when he is not injured, would you not pick him? Is my question. He makes all the difference for Liverpool when he plays. So why would you not pick him when he's available?
Well,
तो
that
लिवरपूल
one
की
actually,
अच्छाई के सोच रहे हो तो
I
ठीक है
actually,
यार. But I somehow
wait,
doubt
maybe
that.
Carlos Soler को आप हटा सकते थे. That is maybe one thing you can
Oh,
talk about.
that's a no-brainer for me. But I don't, like I said, I'm not Luis Enrique. So,
Yeah,
so
I think
yeah,
for forward is the big
starting is
question. I think forward is the main problem, right? Do you agree?
Nico
Because
Williams, Morata. Yeah, sorry.
Ferran Torres is probably going to start. Then I doubt if Asensio starts, right? As in, I
No,
think it's
Asensio, he will switch with. No, Asensio
yeah.
is not guaranteed a start. He will switch. Asensio.
Okay, so let's see. Matlab, again, off the bench, you have people like Pino and Fati, which I believe are good. Dani Olmo also is.
Yeah, Fatih. Personally, I really like Fatih. Okay, and I've seen him live. The only thing with him is injuries. So, and he's played very less for Barca this season. So I just hope it's one of those things where, because he's a really good player. He's really good. So I just hope that sparkle of brilliance and whatever happens, and we just sort of that happens in this World Cup, because he is really good. The talent is, you can't deny that.
Yeah, talent is there. It's
really
just that
like
it needs
Fatih.
to come to the fore quite consistently. Hopefully, it does. Lekin, talking about where this team will lead to, matlab, have you done your predictions yet? What are your predictions? As in, where do you see Spain going? I'll show you the bracket quickly. I think, if I'm not wrong, let's be honest, Germany, they've been shitting really. Honestly, मैं बोलूँगा. Spain, I would expect them to top the group, right? So,
yeah,
but how far?
You know, the other thing with Germany is that in the World Cup, I don't know, yeah, somehow they come alive sometimes. And
this time they're missing a lot of players. I think they're missing a lot of players.
True. They're missing
Mario
a lot of
Götze को ले गया यार, मतलब come on. So I'm like 100%
Royce
Spain
missed
should
out
beat
again, and yeah, so they don't.
So where do you see Spain going? As in, what is your prediction?
I want them to win, but let's see.
Want तो ठीक है, मतलब that is before he started we knew that. लेकिन realistically, the thing is, मतलब somewhere down the line is kind of luck also, because I think you are going to be meeting, I think possibly Brazil in the quarters if you're going to win the round of 16 and the group. So in a strange way मैं बोलता हूँ, अगर Spain second आती है ना group में, then you might meet a Portugal, which is actually on paper, और आपने beat भी किया recently. So somewhere down the line, I think you would want to be finished second, but I know you have to beat the best of the best teams. लेकिन मेरा honestly मैं बोलूँ,
अच्छा है लेकिन.
हाँ, exactly. अच्छा है, लेकिन वही है, मतलब you would rather face a Portugal than a Brazil, right? Let's be honest.
Yeah.
So
sure.
I have gone, personally speaking, with the quarters, but again, like I said, it is a 8. Talk about quarters, 8 वाला जो cycle है ना, I somehow feel that Spain का, it can be a big year, and World Cups में surprise होते हैं. But great to have you, Dhenuka. I know that बहुत सारे बातें हमने की है, लेकिन probably much needed. But final word from you, as in what are you thinking? As in, what's your gut feel? One thing is, like you said, that you want Spain to win, but what's your gut feel about this tournament? Where's leading Spain to?
See, like I said, this is a good, like, coming full circle moment, because a World Cup is a tournament where you can't go off of teams and how they look on paper, and the teams that you don't predict, you think like, oh, whatever, they look quite meh and whatever. It does not work that way. They can go on to win the World Cup because something clicks. Something clicks. The way they play, it might not be beautiful, it might be drab, but they get the results. And so I'm kind of banking on that, and I also think people did not place any bets on Spain in the Euros. People did not place any bets on them in any of the recent games for the Nations League, but they did go on to do well, and they did face like big teams there. I would say that Spain has a solid chance just because it's the World Cup, and stronger teams on paper have more of that pressure to do really well. So things might not click, and yeah, so just on that alone, I think Spain has a good chance of going forward, because at the end of the day, it is one game and that day that matters. So one game at a time, I think Spain can win this.
Okay.
They can, yeah.
So with that, I think we'll end the stream. Of course, thanks a lot again, Dhenuka, for spending the time. और of course, सब लोग भी comment करना अपना. And for once, not just think about a certain player, but think about the entire tournament and the squad. Hopefully that helps. उसी नोट पर चले, अभी तो चलते हैं, but फिर मिलेंगे बहुत जल्दी.
Thanks, Ankit.
Always.